In this video, I will show you how to work the twisted treble crochet stitch. This creates a decorative stitch which we have used for our Million Reasons bag. Today I'm going to be using Wool and the Gang's Rah Raffia in June Green and a 5mm crochet hook. Okay, let's get started. For this video, I have made a foundation chain of 24 stitches. First, I'm going to work my turning chain. This stitch has a turning chain of 4 stitches. For this stitch, the turning chain counts as the first stitch of the row. This makes the edge stitch. Now we're ready to start working the twisted stitches. We're going to skip the next stitch and we're going to work a treble crochet stitch into the following stitch. Okay, to work the next stitch, we're going to work a treble crochet stitch into the stitch that we skipped before. We're going to do this by going behind the stitch you just made. So first we're going to wrap the yarn around the hook twice, then go behind the stitch, and then into that stitch from the front to the back. Then you can pull the yarn through and complete it as a normal treble crochet stitch. There you go, there's your first twisted stitch. So we're going to repeat that for the next 2 stitches. So we're going to skip the next one and go into the following stitch. And again, we're going to go into the stitch that we skipped by going behind this stitch and then in through the front to the back, and then completing it as a normal treble crochet stitch. So now we're going to repeat these 2 stitches until we have 1 stitch left of the row. Now we have 1 stitch left of the row. We're just going to work a regular treble crochet stitch into this stitch. This just creates a neat border. And there you go, that's your first row of twisted treble crochet stitch. For the next row, we're going to work a turning chain of 4 stitches. This again counts as the first stitch. So we're going to skip the next stitch and work our first stitch into the following stitch. And then, as before, we're going to work our next stitch into the stitch that we skipped. So we go behind the last stitch and then go into the stitch from the front to the back, and then complete it as a normal treble crochet stitch. I'm going to repeat this again for the next 2 stitches. So now we're going to repeat these 2 stitches until we have 1 stitch left of the row. Okay, so now we've come to the end of the row, we're going to work our final stitch into the top of the turning chain from the row below. And there you go, that's 2 rows completed in twisted treble crochet stitch. And that's what your piece will look like. This stitch can also be worked in the round, in which case you won't have the edge stitches, but the twisted stitches are all worked in exactly the same way. Thanks for watching.